guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been so long and so much has changed since the last video, so let's get right into it. So I did a previous video on my first and second trimester, and so much changed in the third trimester. So the big changes were my body. My first and second trimester, I told you guys I didn't get any stretch marks. My third trimester, I grew so much that I got so many stretch marks, like right on the front part of my stomach and a little bit on the sides, but mainly on the front, which I was super disappointed because I went my whole pregnancy without. So the third trimester starts at 36 weeks, and it seems like when I hit the 36th week, everything changed. Like my hips started hurting so bad, you guys, to the point where it like hurt to walk, it hurt to lay on my side. So I really kind of only, like when I was sleeping, kind of laid on my back and kind of like sat up a little bit. Even like staying in one position for too long, like sitting or like sleeping in one position too long or anything like that hurt so bad, and my hips just felt like jello. And as the weeks got further, as I got closer to my due date, it got worse and worse. I didn't crave anything extra or anything different. My eating habits stayed pretty consistent. I was just eating more, I would say. And it seems like when you hit that 36th week, for me, I waited so long. It seems like you wait so long, like 9 months. The first 8 fly by, and then that last month, it's just like a tick-tock, tick-tock. Like it goes by so slow, and I was getting so frustrated because I'm like, I just want to meet our daughter. Like, hurry up. Where is the 40-week? Like, where is it? Like, I'm ready for my due date. And it seems like it goes by so slow. Nothing happened in my 36th week. Also, at 36 weeks, most doctors, mine did, I know a lot of my girlfriends that were expecting, you start seeing your doctor. You go from every 2 weeks to every week at that point, because you're kind of like on high alert. At this point, we had our hospital bags in the car at all times beginning at 35 weeks. So at this point, in any car that we drive, anywhere that we went, even if like we took my car instead of my wife, or we took our family car, which is a third row SUV, anytime we took a car, the hospital bags were in that car, because you just kind of never know like when your water could break, or you can start having active labor contractions. So at that point, the hospital bags are in the car. At 37 weeks, we went back to the doctor, regular visit. I think at my 36th week, he did a vaginal check, which he hadn't done since I was like very early in my pregnancy, to see if I was dilated. At 37, we just had a regular visit. He did not do a vaginal check. And we also went back to the 4D mommy sonogram, which I will post a picture of the baby. We went back. It's called 37 and up, and you pay like $37 because you're 37 weeks, and it's basically like your last chance anytime before 40 weeks, between 37 and 40, to see your baby in 4D. Because the first time we went, I was only like 28, 29 weeks, and so we wanted to see, like, did she have any more hair? Did her nose change? Can we see like her fully developed at this point? So we went back and did that, and it was really cool, but she was very non-cooperative. When I went earlier in my pregnancy, she gave us so many good shots, but this time she had like her hands in her face. She flicked us off. She just was not really very cooperative, but we did manage to get just a few shots. She loves, anytime we did a sonogram throughout my entire pregnancy, she had her hand in her face like this, like that, or she would kind of like do a peep and then take it out, or she would like have her hands like in her hair to kind of block in, so like her hand was like this. So it was really hard to see her when we went for the 37 week sonogram. 38 weeks, we went back. He did a vaginal check and just did a regular office visit. At that point, I was gaining weight like crazy. Like my stomach just got bigger and bigger, and I could feel like my stomach like stretching like it was elastic. And that's how I knew like the stretch marks were getting worse and worse and worse, because I didn't really gain a whole lot throughout my pregnancy, but my last month I gained a ton. And then at 39 weeks, I was hoping at this point, some of my girlfriends were telling me like they had got induced at 39 weeks or they were dilated. So I got myself all excited, like, ooh, I'm gonna be dilated, I'm gonna be able to get induced. We went to the doctor. I was so disappointed. He did a vaginal check and was like, nope, nope, nope. Like he looked disappointed because I was so big, and I wasn't, I'll say, tired of being pregnant, but I was just like, at this point, it's getting to be a little much to be pregnant, I'll say, and I want to meet our daughter. And so I asked him, could I be induced? And he was like, he didn't want to. He didn't really say no, but he said he didn't want to induce me at that point because it would just push me towards a C-section, which he really does not advocate for. And so I did not want a C-section under any circumstance unless something was wrong. If my health or the baby's health was in danger, then of course. But if I did not have to have one, no thank you. So he was like, okay, well, I'll see you at 40 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. So my due date was March 24th, and we went on my due date, and I was not dilated at all. Like, he was like, okay, we're gonna see if you're dilated. If you're dilated, you're going upstairs to get started, like in labor. Y'all, stuck his hand in, did a vaginal check, nothing. I was so disappointed. I like about cried. He looked like he was frustrated, and I was just like, why am I not dilating? Like, what is the problem? So I had to do what they call like a stress test, which I had to go upstairs and they do like a simulation. Like they hook this like monitor up to your belly, and I think I have a video. If I do, I'll post it. And it basically sees if your baby under the stress will have 3 contractions in 10 minutes. So I had 3 like right at the 10-minute mark. So I passed the stress test, and then we also had to go and do a fetal birth weight downstairs. And so we had to make sure the baby was fine. So we did, it was the very last ultrasound I had of my pregnancy, just to get a measurement or an estimate of her weight and an estimate of her, the length of how long she was. We got some really, really good pictures there. Again, her hands were like this. She was kicking a whole lot. And so I was fine. And so he was like, well, at this point, you're not dilated. I'm not gonna induce you. So what we're gonna do is schedule you for a induction. And my due date was March 24th again on a Tuesday. And he wanted to do the induction on Sunday evening. So if I hadn't went into labor by that Sunday night, me and my wife were gonna have to be at the hospital, I believe at like 5:15, and they were gonna put a balloon inside of, I guess, my cervix to go ahead and start induction, give me Pitocin and all that good stuff. So we had that scheduled, and I'm just like almost in tears because I'm like, okay, she's healthy, she has good reports, her heart rate's good, her heartbeat's good, she's healthy as a whistle, I'm healthy as a whistle. But at this point, I'm like full term 40 weeks pregnant, and I'm like not miserable because I was super grateful and I was like happy all the way up until I had her. But like I said, it was just painful, like to walk. Like my wife had to help me get in and out of the car, up like any type of incline, even if it was like a sidewalk, like going from like flat to like a little incline. She had to help me up, getting in and out of the bed. It was just a whole lot towards the end of my pregnancy. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday, we can't get induced until Sunday evening. Like I just want to have my baby. And then also my mom had came in that previous Friday of my due date, And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want her to miss out on time with the baby. She has, she works. And so I'm like, I don't want her to, run out of her FMLA to be here. And so it was very frustrating, but we just made it through. We left our appointment. I was also doing like exercises, like I was doing pregnancy yoga. I was going up and down stairs in our home. I was like on the yoga mat doing stretches and all this type of stuff from YouTube, and it seemed like nothing was working. Another thing I left out is because my back was in excruciating pain when I hit 36 weeks, my last trimester. And so due to the pain, and then my hands and feet started to swell, which did not happen my entire pregnancy again until I hit my third trimester. My doctor wound up taking me out of work, so I was still going to the office. We live like 35 minutes outside of the city. And so on a regular work day with like school and traffic of rush hour in the morning, it's about a 45-minute drive for me to work. And so then I have to park, walk all the way to the elevators, go up the elevator to the 4th floor, walk on my way to my desk, and then of course I get hungry, thirsty, so then I have to go back to the elevator to the next floor to the mini mart to get something. It was a whole lot. Then lunch, it was so much. I was in so much pain by the end of the day that from all just the walking and stuff, my hips, it was just unbearable. Then sitting at a desk all day for 8 hours was crazy because I worked from 7:30 to 4:30. So my doctor was like, I don't think so. You're also kind of on high alert at this point. So he took me out of the office and requested that if I was able, that my employer allow me to work from home, which they allowed me to. As I said before, I'm a procurement specialist and I'm a salary employee with my company. So we have laptops. So I was able to work at home literally all the way up until the day that I went into labor, which was great because I got to save my FMLA time. Instead of just sitting at home doing nothing, wasting that time, I was able to work from home, which was awesome. At the 37-week mark, a week later, all of this COVID-19 or coronavirus stuff started getting crazy. So it was great because I was already at home for a week when people started contracting it and it started really heightening. And so I was already self-quarantining myself, which was great. And so was my wife. I believe my wife worked like that last week. My 37 or 38 week was her last week at work. And then she was home with me, so we were already self-quarantining. My 40-week appointment, she was not allowed in the room with me, and that was something that was very big to her. Throughout my entire pregnancy, she wanted to be in the room and at every single appointment, which she was, but that one, she was not allowed in the room, so I had to FaceTime her. She was in the waiting room, like feet away from me, but because of all the COVID-19 stuff, she couldn't be in the room. It was very disappointing, but they made it very quick. Because they understood, and they didn't want me in the office either because they didn't want me to get COVID-19. My thoughts about delivering, I was very, very, very nervous and disappointed because when I went for my 40-week appointment, I asked my doctor, it was like things going around of like certain states and different hospitals in our city, not allowing even like one support person or your spouse or significant other in the room. And then there was other reports like you can only have one person. I had planned, and my doctor knew that we had planned to have my wife, my mom, her mom, and my sister in the room when I gave birth. And so it was very unfortunate that my doctor confirmed I could only have one person, and there couldn't be like, my wife come in and then my mom and then her mom and my sister, like they interchange in and out of the room. That was not allowed. The only is one person with you at all times. They can leave and like go get food from like DoorDash or something downstairs or to Target. Target was right next to our hospital. or like to go somewhere, but they could come back, but only that one person, like they would not allow anybody else in my room. So going into labor, or like getting ready for labor, it was really kind of disappointing because my mom's not, she doesn't live here with us in Birmingham, and so she lives in DC, and so her just traveling all this way, you know, to see her first grandchild be born was, you know, a little disappointing. Olivia's mom, the same, she lives here in the same city, but she wanted to see her first grandchild be born. And then of course my sister, she was just super pumped. So it was really disappointing that I knew that they weren't going to be there. And then also I was just nervous to contract, you know, the coronavirus, because it's just seeing everything going around. It was so new, of like to the most of the nation, and just the symptoms, and people were just dying at alarming rates. So I'm nervous to go to the hospital because I'm like, I don't know what you got. Like when I was like my head, I'm like, when I go to the hospital, I'm asking every single nurse, doctor, do you have coronavirus? Do you have coronavirus? Like, girl, what do you got going on? But girl or guy, excuse me. But it just was what it was. It was the cards that we were dealt, and you know, I just had to know that, you know, it's just gonna be me and my wife, which, you know, when I thought about it, prayed about it, you know, it's a very intimate thing. And so I was like, we're just gonna make the most of it. It's me and her and our soon-to-be daughter coming into this world. And so, you know, we just were gonna make the most of it, you know, FaceTime everybody, and you know, after she comes out and I'm settled and things like that. But until then, you know, you're just gonna make it work. So those are the updates for my third trimester, which was different than my first two. Next, I'm going to be doing a 3-part series on labor and delivery. And so stay tuned. The next video will be posted on Sunday, and I'm super excited to be back on YouTube. If you guys have any questions about my labor and delivery, or want to know certain things in particular, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in.